everyone. I'm Sunny.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Rox, and this is
Literature on the Rocks.
Book club. I wasn't sure, right?
Yeah, it's a book club.
I was waiting because I know how excited you guys get over that.
Okay, so I have another Starbucks story.
Oh, I can't wait.
It's not really
All right, let me hear it.
a story. A topic of conversation that's probably played out already online, and I'm just now talking about it. But you know how they're required to write things on your cup now? Do you know that?
I did know that.
I did not know that, but makes
I
sense
don't
because every
frequent
cup has something.
Starbucks,
Well,
but I did know that.
I do go to Starbucks much less now than I used to.
yeah. I go when I come here. Actually, mostly when I come is when I
Okay.
come here. They are required to write stuff on your cups now.
Okay.
And I hate it.
Why?
Like viscerally, I hate it. Like,
Hot
when
take.
when I see it, it angers me.
Oh my god!
Oh my God.
Seriously?
I don't have that reaction. I think it's dumb that it's required to write notes on the cups.
Yeah,
that's
because
very
like-
inauthentic.
Like now,
Yes.
it's when you used to get it, it was like, oh, cute, right? Like, oh, bride to be, or whatever. If you're celebrating a special,
Oh, yeah.
Like they would talk to you and pull stuff out of you, and then write something that made sense.
Yeah.
On it. But now it's more like a freaking fortune cookie. Like they're just writing it on the cups before they ever hand it to
the person.
the person.
Yeah, to get ahead of the game.
Yeah, so that's less time at the drive-through window.
Yeah, so they're just making drinks, and they're like, cool, I already have something on here. Requirement checked. And I'm like, thank you. Or someone was like, oh, my favorite. I'm like, bitch, you had a stack of cups there that had all the cups already lined up with what they were going to say. And mine is your favorite? I doubt it.
So you mean to tell me when I got a pink dragon the other day and it said, pretty girls get pretty drinks.
That was a lucky fortune, okay? They were like, thank God I pulled this cup
That
because
is
it's
luck
fitting.
of the draw, and it worked in their favor.
I can't wait for a man to get the pretty girls get pretty drinks.
I feel like maybe they'd be like, ooh, we shouldn't use that one. I'll do that one on the
What
next
if they
one.
have like a female stack and like a general stack?
jeez.
Oh my
and they're-
God.
This is too much. Now at least it's
feel
a little
like-
more planning.
I feel like if
feel
I
like
was
at
going to
this
be
point-
pre-planning my cups, I'd be doing that. Like, okay, this is a good one for a girl. This is a good one for general.
I feel like at that point, Starbucks needs to look at when they get their cups printed that it should automatically be printed
Yeah.
on the cups in the signature
Then it takes
like writing.
I'm
Then-
also angry about that.
well, I'm just saying. Then
Look, it takes away the
If they-
genuineness.
if
of
they
it.
want to
Like
be
the-
kitschy,
the authenticity
then
of
just
their-
have it printed and save yourself some money and your staff some time.
I guess.
It does take away the like personalization of the
Yeah.
experience at Starbucks, right?
Yes.
Well, then do you remember when there was that whole thing where they were intentionally spelling people's names wrong?
That was intentional.
Yes. They were doing it on purpose because people were posting on it and they were getting free advertisement about it. So it was like just however they could think about spelling somebody's names, and then people would be like, oh my God, right? And it was just Starbucks galore all
My name's
over.
Sunny, not Cindy.
Yes. I'm going to look it up now because I'm pretty sure it was intentional.
I don't think
Oh,
all
wait,
of them
no.
were.
It says no, Starbucks did not spell names wrong on purpose as a company-wide rule, but I don't think that they published
But
anything
it was like,
about it.
if you do,
It
it's okay.
Yeah, it happened so often though. Like people were spelling like
I'm
how
sorry.
come you
many
have-
years is-
Oh,
span
you
of
work.
time.
You are in HR and you work with the public. You legitimately think that many people know how to spell? Because working in this, working in corporate, I can tell you, 90% of people don't spell.
Yeah, but I think in marketing, I'd be like, lean into that.
Yeah.
We like that here.
right?
please.
Yes, because like look at how much advertisement we're getting for free.
Yeah.
Because now if you think about it, it's kind of died off. I don't see a bunch of things on social media anymore about people spelling their names wrong.
Oh, they spell names wrong still.
But it was like a whole thing where they were just
I think
constantly
the
on social
fad
media.
of,
Maybe
like,
people
putting
got
it on
over
the-
it and they were just
Yeah.
like, all right, whatever. My name is Rachel and they're going to spell it with a Q. Perfect.
Raquel. Yep. Did
Doubt it.
some sad person didn't get, like, they saw somebody got writing on their cup and they're an angry little bitch that they didn't get writing on
Oh,
their
and then
cup
they
and they
submitted a
complained? And is
complaint?
that why this is now a policy?
Or like,
Multiple little bitches
Yeah.
complained.
Oh, I could see that. I could absolutely
you have
see
to
that.
write it on it. If you're
So
gonna
you
write it on
ruined-
one, you gotta write it on everyone.
This isn't,
do
no, there are
think-
no participation trophies at Starbucks.
I do think that the rule was not intentionally like fortune cookie-esque, right? Because that's how I feel like it is. It's really just
Like,
Well,
now
what
you
were
get what
they
you get now.
expecting? Like, you're not going to change, like, drive-through timelines.
they're
Like,
trying to back. So what I know about Starbucks marketing as a whole, which is not a lot, I don't know a ton about it, but they're trying to back it up into what they originally were. This homey, cozy.
Oh, like a
boutique coffee shop that you want to come back to, right? Because that's where they started. Now they've gotten so commercialized that it's hard. You don't feel that way. It's a
Trying to
fast
scale it
food.
back.
It's a coffee fast food now. We're the drive-through fast food version of coffee, but you're getting handwritten notes from us, and you're,
But
you know,
they're
and the
fake.
yeah, exactly. Still feel it's just stupid.
Or just, I mean, I don't know if it's really.
It's commercialized the hominess.
Yes.
That's what they did. They
Like, you
didn't make
can't
themselves
be-
more homey.
You can't be a boutique
Yeah.
coffee shop and have this conglomerate
Stamped
of
on.
yeah, like
Yeah.
you can't. You're not a boutique coffee shop, but I think they want to emulate the feeling of a
Yeah.
boutique coffee shop. I do think their purpose was not to be like, hey, everyone just write the names on the cup or like write the words on the cup, stack them. I think there's potentially some stores that are like, no, we're not going to do that. The purpose is to connect with the customer.
Just happens at this specific location pre.
yeah.
Wrote 'em in, yeah.
But I get
People
it,
are like,
like-
I'm streamliling this shit. I'm
Yeah.
not going to sit here at a
Oh,
dead
Well,
To be
especially
fair,
when they
if
get
I-
rushed.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, to be fair, if I was a store manager, I'd probably do the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
here, backfill a few because we don't have time to be writing on every single one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like your intent was to develop deeper relationships with the customer that's ordering and then personalize this cup.
They're not taking into account, which a lot of corporations do that, the person who actually has to write it and the time that they have. They're not adjusting anything else. They're just adding an extra element for them to do in the same timeline.
Yeah.
So yeah, it makes sense that they're gonna mass draw
Yeah,
on
if
cups.
they said we
Because
give you an extra.
you're not connected actually to the people that are in that shop to say,
Exactly.
hey, what can we do to encourage you to develop a relationship? Write on a cup? Will that help you?
Yeah.
No, that'll just take up more time. But definitely don't write thank you on your cup. I know that wasn't personalized to you. Like, you're welcome.
Do you want it to be like Nicki Minaj lyrics and be like, you got a big fat ass,
Yeah.
ass.
And I'm like, oh my God, they know me.
This is like my second home, clearly.
All right, let's get into this book club.
So we're book clubbing Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus. Mm-hmm. And our ratings last week were 3 shots all around. Ooh, ooh.
Yeah. All right, let's do this book club. So we do the same 4 questions every book club we do, and then the last 3 questions are specific to the book. So our first question is first impressions. What were your initial thoughts when you started reading Lessons in Chemistry, and did the book meet your expectations or surprise you? So I saw this book everywhere for some time on social media. Like, it was just all over the place. It was on Goodreads. It was on, right? It wasn't just Reels, but it was everywhere. And I had it on my personal TBR for, I think, probably a couple years now. There was something that always stopped me from reading it, though. So when I saw that Rox put it on her lit TBR, I was happy to have to read it since it was a book I was definitely interested in.
That she was avoiding for years.
And it wasn't even that I was avoiding it. It was just one that was on the list. I'm like, I don't know if I'm in the mood for it. I just didn't know much about it. I just knew it was raved about. And sometimes I think that's puts a lot of pressure on a book. And so I think that's why I'm like, I'm not ready to be disappointed in Lessons in Chemistry. But because you put it on, I had to read it and I liked it. And I'm glad to finally be able to check it off the list.
I wasn't sure what to expect. I have seen reels of the TV show because it's a TV show on Apple TV. And so I didn't know what to expect, but I didn't expect the emotional depth, the strong portrayal of women, and all of the superb intellect that she held. So all of those were absolute bonuses to the book.
Yeah.
And
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was about. I just knew
Same.
it was supposed to be a great book.
yeah.
And it's essentially what I'm going to say now.
Yeah.
Is that I said it was my pick, but I was really excited to read it because I had heard good things about it, and which is why I chose it for the TBR. But what surprised me the most was how much of the story centered around the women's empowerment. I really didn't know exactly what the book was about. Like, even reading the summary, I don't know that it gives you a full, like, depth of what you're about to experience. And so I wasn't expecting that to be such a prominent theme, but I thought it was handled really beautifully. What I loved most was how relatable so many of the themes were, like finding your place, challenging your expectations, building a family, kind of figuring out who you are. The only thing I couldn't relate to was being a scientific genius.
You're the only one.
Yeah. That was 10 out of 10 for me. Abiogenesis is my jam. Unresolved questions. Were there any plot points or character arcs that you felt were left unresolved or could have been explored further? A very small an insignificant part, but I wonder how Leben Small, the rapey executive producer, felt being stuck at home or possibly in the hospital recovering and watching Elizabeth go on to do amazing things and seeing the show thrive when he was clearly trying to hold it down. Did it give him another heart attack? Let's hope so.
Serious, because they just like took over and kept going.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Walter Pine was just like, I'm fired. And she's like, no,
You're in
dummy.
charge now.
You have been promoted.
Nobody knows that we got fired. Who fucking cares what he said?
Yeah.
He's dead now. Let him die.
Then I feel like that was a true Rachel kind of response.
I felt it in my heart. I was like,
I hope
hell.
he had another heart attack.
Yeah, I did. I felt strongly.
Seriously. That was good. I said, honestly, no. I was really happy with how everything came together. The story gave me enough detail to stay invested without over explaining every little thing. So by the end, I felt like the characters had gone exactly where they needed to go, and I walked away feeling satisfied.
Yes.
But that was a great point. I am curious.
I had the same feeling. And I was like, is there any outlying bullshit that I just thought, maybe? I had to go soul searching to find out about Leben Small.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, actually, I often like to look up if anyone online is talking about plot holes in books. This is because, one, I generally skip through life without noticing things going wrong around me. And I sure do not realize plot holes often, although there are some that feel glaringly obvious at times. But also, two, I love the gossip. I didn't see any plot holes with this book, but people online talked about how there was science inaccuracies in the book.
Oh, well, see, that's why I'm not a scientific genius. I didn't catch that.
Okay, but we heard the POV from a dog, people. There wasn't even hard science in this book.
Yeah, this was not a sci-fi.
I
A
was happy with the
hard
book.
sci-fi.
I was happy with the book and felt satisfied with the ending.
I guess the only science that maybe could have been questioned was like the way she connected the science to the food and the recipes and like, oh, when you cook it, it
Yeah.
brings out the blah, blah, blah
They were
in
like,
the food.
in the 50s, nobody would like fall for a show where the host was saying the scientific names for these things. And I was like,
First
How do you
of all,
know?
bitch,
Were you
don't
alive
know
in
that?
the 50s?
you don't know that. And
Were you a closeted housewife that hadn't been talked to like an adult in a long time? Because I feel like
And you know
that's what she was speaking to.
Bonnie actually talks about how she did research on the science, but then specifically tailored her science to the type of science
Yeah.
that they had available to them in the 50s.
even if there were science inaccuracies, we're definitely in real life. You don't hear the point of view from a dog who knows 600 words. Like, stupid.
If that was the plot hole you were going after, it would have been the talking dog.
Yes.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. You're looking for realism here? Okay.
Facts.
Anyway, so that's my rant.
Love it. Alternate ending. If you could change one thing about the ending of Lessons in Chemistry, what would it be and why? Similar to my other answer, nothing. I thought it was a beautiful ending. She found her way back to science, but she also found something she wasn't necessarily looking for, which was a family. She had her daughter, but like she wasn't really looking to expand it and have this like big family.
Because she never knew what it was like.
Yeah, but then she ended up finding one that she could
found
have.
family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't the family she imagined she'd have, but it was one that she built through love, friendship, and the people who chose to stand beside her. I think that's one of my favorite messages from the book is that sometimes family isn't just who you're born into. Sometimes it's the people you choose and who choose you right back. So I thought that was really beautiful.
So the last sentence in my last question was, I was happy with the book and felt satisfied with the ending. So I guess I answered this question with the last sentence of that answer. But I was satisfied with the ending. I love a book that ends on a happy note. And I loved that Donati got what was coming to him. Chef's kiss.
Yes. I loved how the story ended as well. Elizabeth got the family she needed, the job she dreamed of, and the freedom to let her scientific mind run wild.
All right, adaptation dreams. If Lessons in Chemistry were to be adapted into a movie or TV series, who would you cast in the main roles? So obviously, this has already been adapted.
I did not follow those.
I stayed away from anyone
I
they
did.
had actually casted.
Yeah, I tried to as well.
They had such a good Elizabeth.
I think they had a really good cast, actually, in
I
general.
didn't
but,
look at the only person I saw in multiple reels was Elizabeth.
Yeah,
I did Elizabeth Zott, Calvin, Harriet, and Walter.
that's who I did.
Samesies.
Okay, so Elizabeth Zott. I picked Jodie Comer.
Oh, okay. I did Sarah Catherine Hook.
Oh, okay. I chose Claire Foy.
I don't dislike any of the ones that we've mentioned. I mean, if I were to pick beef with any one of them, it would just be Claire Foy, only because she's English, but I do like her look.
So, Sarah Captain Hook.
All right, Calvin, I picked Logan Learman. How did you picture him?
I mean, they described him as like he was tall and well
And like
built,
a little bit awkward, but he was a runner, so he couldn't be like,
and he rode like
But he rode.
yeah, so he was like muscular.
He was
but-
built.
Athletic, yeah.
Yes.
and he was super tall.
Yes. I pictured him as like a tall, athletic, handsome, because everybody talked about how handsome he was,
Yeah.
but could also be super, super smart and nerdy.
Yes.
I
That's-
pictured it as like, what's that movie? It was in like the early 2000s where like her makeover was just her taking off her glasses and then she was like this bombshell.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Yes. She's all that or something.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is what I imagined for Calvin. Like he was in a lab coat and like once he took off his lab coat and glasses, it was like, oh my God, who's that man?
Like a Henry Cavill as Clark Kent, and then he like takes off his
Exactly.
glasses and he's
But
like, wow.
Too cute. I felt like that was too cute.
I did Paul Mescal. I didn't look at how tall he was. He can wear lifts in his shoes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So far, it's my least favorite.
Which one's yours?
Which one's yours? So I can pick my least favorite.
I picked Sam Claflin. Are we casting me out?
Sure.
Because my pick, if we were casting me out, I would say Percy Jackson.
Logan Learman. Got it.
All right, Harriet, I cast Octavia Spencer.
Oh, me too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Yes, I did.
nice.
I really like her.
Well, who did you pick?
Kate Blanchett.
Okay, so Octavia Spencer, since we both cast her?
Yes.
Okay. I picked Ed Helms.
Oh, I could see that.
I like that.
Yeah, I could see that. I think I like him more than my pick.
I think I do too.
Okay, what's your guys' pick?
I picked Tony Goldwyn.
Well, I picked Matt Bomber, so there's that. All right, so Ed Helms is the winner.
Yeah,
Okay.
Ed Helms.
Okay. All right, so that's it. So we got Elizabeth is Sarah Catherine Hook, Sarah Captain Hook. Calvin is Logan Learman. Harriet is Octavia Spencer, and Walter is Ed Helms.
Unapologetically you. Elizabeth refuses to change herself to make other people comfortable, even when it costs her. Do you admire that kind of authenticity, or do you think there are times when compromise is necessary? I do believe compromise is necessary in a lot of situations, but I think we sometimes use the word compromise when what we really mean is, can you make yourself smaller so that everyone else feels more comfortable? And that's exactly what Elizabeth was being asked to do. Nearly every time Elizabeth was told she needed to change, it was because she was a woman who was too intelligent, too direct, too ambitious, or simply unwilling to perform femininity in the way society expected. She was expected to soften herself, appear weaker, be more agreeable, and allow men to take control. And I don't consider any of that a compromise. That's conformity. Could Elizabeth be difficult? Absolutely. Was she always right? Probably, but we don't know. But I don't think she needed to compromise on who she was just to make other people feel less threatened by her. And maybe that's the controversial part. I don't think authenticity always has to be pleasant or convenient. Sometimes being fully yourself makes people uncomfortable, and that discomfort doesn't automatically mean you're the one who needs to change.
What's the thing the
Yeah,
kids
that
do
was
these
good.
days?
Yes. I love that.
I really admire Elizabeth's authenticity, but I also think life requires balance. There are times when standing firm on your values is absolutely the right thing to do, even if it comes at a cost. But I also think compromise has its place. Relationships, careers, and even friendships require some level of flexibility if you want them to thrive. I do agree with yours about like shrinking yourself isn't compromise, it's conformity, right? So there is that balance too. But the key to me is knowing the difference between compromising how I communicate versus compromising on who I am. Elizabeth never sacrifices who she was, and I think that's what makes her so inspiring.
I think we all said things the same, but very differently. I really liked your compromise versus conformity, but so I wrote, I love that Elizabeth knew exactly who she wanted to be and was unapologetic about it. She was also matter of fact about who she was, as there was nothing you could say that would make her feel like she needed to change who she was. I love it in this book. In real life, though, I don't know that I've ever met someone who is already entirely perfect. And I know for sure that I am not. I'm comfortable with compromise for a couple of reasons. For one, if I love someone, I want them to be happy and not in a codependent kind of way, but more like I want to find a way to make our lives work together, and I'm willing to come up with a compromise to make that happen. I don't mean changing foundational core pieces of yourself, but if taking 15 minutes to watch a video about mechanics of a new car coming out instead of doing the thing that I was planning on doing, if that will bring my husband joy, then I can do that. Or even smaller examples of changing the way I put the toilet paper on the roll for him, I'll compromise.
Oh, no.
I haven't.
No
He compromised
compromising.
for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I was like-
all of ours have to come from the top.
Yes.
There
Yes.
is no
Yes.
bottom roll.
No.
Yes.
Why
And
am I digging underneath the toilet roll
Absolutely not.
for my loose end?
It comes on top.
My husband
It has
doesn't
to-
care, but he has now.
Adopted to
He's
the top.
adopted.
Yeah, mine
Yes.
didn't care either, but
Although
they
I
should be placed
Did
on
have,
top.
I agree.
I did have a person who put it the other way purposely because they had a cat and the cat would do this to the toilet and it
won't
kept it
fly
from
down.
Yeah.
We
That's
don't
a good
keep
point, but
the cat
also-
near the bathrooms.
Okay, well.
She's not allowed.
But that's a reason.
Yeah,
I
still
valid
hate
reason.
it, but
valid reason.
I don't like it, but
manage your cat.
the other reason I'm comfortable with compromise is because if I'm not, I might be part of the problem. Elizabeth was fighting a fight we wanted to stand behind and we agreed with. If I am not open to understanding where someone else is coming from, then I am part of the problem. I think standing up for what you believe is right is important, but it's just as important to be able to hear what the other side is saying and decide if it's worth listening to further. That part about Elizabeth was also fun to see. The piece of her that hated rowing until it made sense to her. And then she not only accepted it as her own, but learned everything she could to fully understand and share it with others. That started with a compromise worth making with her love. And if she wasn't open to hearing it, she would have never found it. So there are definitely times when compromise is a good move.
Agreed.
how far have we really come? Although Lessons in Chemistry is set in the 1960s, many of the obstacles Elizabeth faces still feel relevant today. Where do you still see these barriers for women or anyone who doesn't fit society's expectations? And do you think we've made as much progress as we'd like to believe? Okay, so I said I can really only speak from my own experiences as a woman, but I do think we've made some incredible progress since the 1960s. Women today have opportunities that simply didn't exist back then. We can build careers, pursue higher education, own homes, make our own medical decisions for the most part, and choose what kind of life we want to live. Personally, I don't feel like I've ever been denied an opportunity simply because I'm a woman, but that's just my own personal experience, at least that I've known, because I may just be oblivious to it. Where I do still see some challenges is in balancing a career with motherhood. I don't think it is very much understood, and I don't think that it's very much flexible or compromised. Even though I work for an incredibly supportive company, I sometimes catch myself worrying that if I need to leave early or take time off to care for my daughter, people will see me as less committed. And it's unfortunate that we have to feel that way to care for our children. Thankfully, that's never been my experience, but it's a perception I think a lot of working moms carry. I work hard because I want people to think of me as someone who's dependable and capable, not simply as someone who has to leave because she's a parent. I've also experienced what it's like to be one of the few women in a male-dominated industry. Most people I've worked with have been incredibly great, but every once in a while, you run into someone who still holds outdated beliefs. I once had a colleague tell me I was lucky to have reached my position because I was both a woman and a minority, and that those same things would probably keep me from climbing much higher. So good for you. And he did not last much longer in this job.
HR fired his ass.
Thankfully, I think people with that mindset are becoming the exception rather than the rule. Hopefully, at least in my mind, there's always room to improve, and I certainly don't have all the answers. But when I look around today, I see far more opportunity than limitations, and I hope that progress continues for the next generation.
I agree. I think there are some extremes, but then there's also some smaller things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, so I'll just read my
Okay.
I'll read my answer.
Tell me.
I think we have come a long way, but the obstacles are still very much so present all around us. If a woman gets mad, she's a bitch, but if a man gets mad, he's just moody. If a man sleeps around, he gets high fives from his buddies, but if a woman does it, she gets slut shamed. I had a moment recently where I was a couple minutes late for a meeting with executives, and we were interviewing a vendor that will be taking on a large project for us. The men that were at the meeting stated they could not start without me, as I was an integral part of this meeting. When I got in, the vendor was surprised that I was a woman. I think in the 60s, I wouldn't have even had a seat at that table. But there are still gender roles personified in business and in the home. I think we as women put them on ourselves as well. If I can't make it to a doctor's appointment or something else my son might have going on, I beat myself up. But I would never ridicule my husband for not being there if I could make it for him. There are definitely still obstacles we need to overcome. I feel proud of the women who have helped get us to where we are still. Because of them, I have a seat at the table. Heck, I have my own bank account because of them. We have this podcast and business because of them. I hope we make them proud as well. So thank you to all the women and allies, past, present, and future, that are a part of making room for more women at the table.
That was good.
Thanks.
Love it.
I think I run on for a little bit, so
That's okay.
Let's just buckle up here.
All right.
I do think society has made progress since the time period in which this book was written. Women can vote, women can hold jobs, women can wear pants. It's a wild concept. But while we've made changes, there are still some glaringly large holes in the framework of society when it comes to where women are allowed to exist and how women are expected to show up. Women in the workplace are held to a different standard. We're often described using completely different adjectives, like you said, than men who display the exact same behaviors. I'm a strong vocal person, and as a leader, I'm direct and to the point. Yet I've been told many times by men in leadership that I need to soften my approach, smile more, add a little sugar to my message. And I can't help but wonder, would a man who communicated the same way be called confident, decisive, a strong leader, or would he be told to smile more? I can tell you from experience, he has not been told to smile. This isn't just something that happens in the workplace either. You see it when making major purchases. I have a perfect example. I was on a lunch break, and my associate and I went to the Tesla dealership. I had personally scheduled the test drive and was considering swapping out a commuter car. He said, very cool, can I come? And I said, sure thing, let's go. Reservations in my name. I was clear from the beginning that we worked together and he was just along for the ride. Like, I'm the buyer.
You are the customer.
I'm driving the fucking car. I'm the buyer. So tell me why the salesman thought it would be a great idea to turn around to the back seat while I'm in this test drive and start selling to the man sitting in the back seat, not to the woman who scheduled the appointment and was actually considered buying the car. And before anyone says, oh, maybe that's just one bad salesman. No, not every salesperson will do this, but I've experienced different versions of it repeatedly over the years, whether it's car dealerships, whether it was buying our travel trailer, and majority of our big purchases. And it really pisses me off. My husband and I are equal partners, and when it comes to researching, asking questions, and negotiating and making big purchases, I'm usually the one taking the lead. My husband even intentionally lets me be the first person to engage with them because he knows how much it frustrates me when people automatically direct everything to him. What really gets me is when I'm actively asking questions, doing the research, and leading the conversation, and then the salesperson turns to my husband to answer the question that I just asked. He didn't ask you. I did. Look at me. So yes, we have made progress, absolutely. But I think sometimes we congratulate ourselves for changing the obvious things while ignoring a more subtle way that women are expected to be smaller, softer, sweeter, and more agreeable, or are simply treated as though the man standing next to them must be the one in charge.
Yeah, I think we're still fighting these stigmas, the way things used to be, right? Like, I think that we still live with a generation who feels like, in my mind, this is still a woman and they had a place back in my day. So my immediate reaction is like to smile at them. And then like, I'm not saying some of the things like, you're just a woman. Why are you buying this car or whatever?
Yeah.
But I'm smiling at you. And then my intention is like, okay, now I'm going to talk to the person who has the money, when that's totally not the case these days.
No, it is not.
All right. So now our last question. Knowledge is power. Elizabeth believes that knowledge gives people the freedom to think for themselves and challenge the world around them. If you could instantly become an expert in one subject, not necessarily for your career, but simply to improve your own life, what would you choose and why? Oh, I love this question when I wrote it in here, but now trying to answer it, it's freaking hard. I was like sitting there thinking, like, what? I don't know. It's a fun question. I don't like it now, though. So I think from a practical sense, I'd want to know more about child development and psychology. I think even without the practicality of it, the way we think and what makes us tick is interesting to me. I would love to be an expert of the mind. Practicality side of it would be to help communicate things better with my husband and my son, to understand what my son's brain can comprehend right now and how to help him through some of his struggles. Sounds like it would make things a little easier, honestly. Heck, it might even make me a better manager by understanding my team's way of thinking better. If I could learn it overnight without all the work, though, to get there, that would be great. I just want to know it and become an expert.
I had to think about this question because I was like, what would I want?
Yeah.
And I think I would like to become an expert on financial literacy, wealth building, and investing. Not because I'm obsessed with money, but because money creates options and having options creates freedom. I would want to understand everything: investing, real estate, taxes, retirement, trusts, and how to build wealth in a way that doesn't just benefit me, but creates opportunities for my children. I think so many of us are taught how to work hard and earn money, but we're not necessarily taught how to make our money work for us or how to build something that lasts beyond our lifetime. And I think knowledge in that area would give me more confidence. I could ask better questions, recognize better opportunities, and make decisions based on understanding. Also, I'm not going to lie, I would love to know all the legal ways wealthy people protect their money and build generational wealth, because there is clearly a handbook somewhere that the rest of us were not given.
Yeah, it's stupid, yeah.
Yeah. So yes, if I could download one subject directly into my brain, it would be financial literacy. Give me the money manual. I want the whole thing. And now you can like Google things and it feels like scammy. Like, come to this class and we're going to teach you how to make $1 million. Like, that's not what I want.
No. Yes, I agree. We're going to be...
And there's so many like pieces of that puzzle. Like there's not... What makes it hard is there isn't just one right answer. It's not like take this path. It's like all of these paths. And you're like, well, which one do I want to do first? And what is the right steps? And they're like, well, whatever's right for you.
And you're like, that doesn't
Tell
help
me what is right for me.
How much money do you want to put into it? How long do you want it to take? What there's so many things, and it's like, okay. I said I've actually thought about this before and have considered going back to school because of it. I've thought about it so many times, and not because I want to get like a degree or anything like that. I just want to like learn and understand. But with Google, there's so many things I could just Google myself. I'd want to become an expert in finances, investment, taxes, stocks, real estate, all the things, anything that would help me build long-term financial security for myself and for my family. So much of that knowledge isn't taught in schools unless it's directly related to your career. And I think that's kind of shitty. Like, they don't give you the information when it's so important to your life. So my hope is that I can continue learning and eventually pass that knowledge to my children so that they can start further ahead than I did. Because I didn't start really building or looking into it until I was already in my 30s. I could have started when I was 18 and really been 15 years ahead. So I want her to start off further along than I did. So one of my favorite ideas from this book is that knowledge gives people the freedom to think for themselves. I take that one step further and say knowledge also creates opportunities you may never have realized existed. Sometimes learning something new doesn't just change what you know, it changes the future that you're able to build.
Yeah.
Give you some of these.
Are you changing your ratings?
I'm not.
Okay. Are you?
No.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Stage 3s.
Woohoo!
All right, well, that's a wrap on this episode of Literature on the Rocks. We mixed up science, feminism, 630 appreciation, and one unforgettable heroine at Lessons in Chemistry. Next week, we're opening the door to The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young. A wink, wink. And trust us, you're going to want to come along for the ride. Make sure you're subscribed because we're here for you every Wednesday.
Yes, if this episode reminded you that it's never too late to chase a dream, question expectations, or write your own formula for success, rate and review the podcast. It helps us continue sharing stories that inspire meaningful conversations and remind us that sometimes the greatest discoveries happen when we're brave enough to think differently.
Lessons in Chemistry gave us brilliant women, outdated expectations, and plenty of reasons to question the entire experiment. Consider this your reminder. Trust the science, know your worth, and don't let anyone explain your own potential to you. Follow @LitOnTheRocksPod on Instagram and TikTok, and visit literatureontherocks.com.
Don't let anybody tell you what to do, but follow Literature on the Rocks.
Don't let anyone explain your own potential to you.
But also listen to what we're telling you.
Yeah.
But also, we're behind you.
Yeah.
Follow us.
We're behind you, but follow us because
Exactly.
we're also in front of you.
There's 3 of us. Get in line.
Get in the middle somewhere, damn it.
All right, until next time, may your experiments be successful and your chemistry, both in life and in your cocktails, always be just right. Cheers.
Toodaloo.
Bye.